Good afternoon, family. Thanks for checking out today's video. If you're new here, my name is Jonathan, and I created this channel as a way to record my progress as I work towards my goal of losing 300 pounds. If you'd like to join the family, hit that subscribe button down below. Also, make sure you click on the bell icon so you get alerted when I go live or post new videos. If you'd like to participate on the discussion, you can join me most weekdays where I go live on YouTube around 4 p.m. Central Time, or outside of my YouTube channel, you can consider joining the Discord I created. There is a link for that down in the description below. Also, down in the description below is a link to a Pinterest board. A lot of times people will ask me what kind of foods I'm eating to help me lose weight. And that Pinterest board is a great place for you guys to see the different meals that I've been enjoying. Let's see, today is day 885 of my 3-year challenge to lose 300 pounds. I've used a combination of extended water fasting and a whole food, plant-based, salt, oil, sugar-free diet to lose over 240 pounds so far. If anybody has any non-scale victories they'd like to share, I'd love to hear your non-scale victories. If you have any on-scale victories, I love hearing those as well. If you are struggling with your diet, let us know what's causing your struggles. Maybe we can help you out. If you're succeeding with your diet, let us know what you're doing. Maybe you can help others out. And at the end of the day, what are some things that you are doing that will make staying on your diet easier than the alternative? Let's go ahead, switch over to the main here. A couple people checking in. Our Tiny Acres, Pretty Girl's mom. Hello, hello. Hope you guys have had a wonderful day. We kind of had a quick storm blow through here very rapidly and caused a lot of trees and things to come down. So definitely screwed up the second half of my day, made it a little bit busier than I expected. Christy checking in saying hi. Hi, Christy. Hope you're having a great day. Real quick, we will just take a look at the food that we've had since yesterday. It was Monday, and so that means that we usually, or a lot of times on Monday, we end up having mega veggie chili, and yesterday was one of those Mondays. So this is not connecting. I wonder if that would make a difference. So let me see. Try it now. All right, let's try it one more time. There we go. Mega Veggie Chili Monday. It was a wonderful Mega Veggie Chili. Yesterday, Carrie did something a little bit different, and she cut up some mushrooms and threw it in there, and it was really good with the added mushrooms. It's not something that we always have in our Mega Veggie Chili. Also, there's some peas in there as well, which we don't always have, but it was really awesome. And what I always talk about the Mega Veggie Chili, anytime you're switching over to a diet, you have to give your body time to adapt to the new flavors. And when I started eating this way, Mega Veggie Chili was a recipe that we had very early on, that the first couple weeks I did not really like the Mega Veggie Chili. I just ate it because it was part of the diet. After about 2 to 3 weeks, we had the recipe again, and I noticed a substantial difference in my satisfaction from it. It's a couple things that play into that. One of them is that your body does take time to adapt to the food you're eating. Just like when you walk into a dark room from being in a bright room, your body adapts to the difference in lighting. Your body will adapt to the difference in food that it's presented. It just takes longer time for that adaptation to happen. And so for me, it took a couple weeks for my body to really start adapting and enjoying these flavors. The other thing that happens as you get going with your diet is you get better at preparing these foods. So the first time we made this recipe, we followed a recipe, and it had flavors in it that maybe I didn't enjoy, but over time we've added things to it, removed things from it, and so it has it's gone back. We've gotten better at making the foods that we're eating, so that also makes them more enjoyable. Hello, Carrie's checking in. Hope everything's going great at home and there's no big damage or trees down. I think if there would have been, you would have let me know. Let's see. Our Tiny Acres says, you posted it on Discord, but you had steamed broccoli and a salad with lemon, while everyone else had oily pasta and stuff. That's great. And it feels great to be able to eat healthy and be still part of a group. And also, I really like being able to eat healthy in front of people to kind of show off what I'm doing, and so that when they look back and they say, hey, John's lost all this weight. The last time I was eating with him, he ate this. I think a lot of times people use those special events or going out as a reason to cheat. And unfortunately, that gives people the wrong idea of what your diet is. And they think, oh, John lost 240 pounds and he was able to eat this food. But in reality, the eating that food wasn't what helped you to lose the weight. Pretty Girl's mom says, nice shirt, John. Yes, this is actually my goal shirt. This is, I didn't get a photo. I need to get a photo in it. I don't have the photo here. I don't know if I have the photo handy anywhere, but back in 2013, I had lost a bunch of weight. And when I got down to kind of my lightest at that time, I had a wedding to go to for my cousin. So this was a shirt that I bought that fit me kind of when I was down to my lowest back then, and it fit as long as I was wearing like compression clothing underneath it. But then I started gaining weight shortly after I purchased the shirt, and we had that event. It was kind of around the same time that I was no longer able to take the prescription any longer for the appetite suppressant. So this shirt got a couple uses back in 2013, and then it got thrown in a box and tucked away, never to be seen again until recently. So I'm happy. It fits really. I mean, it's loose. I don't have it tucked in, so it's kind of just hanging on me right now. But it fits really well right now. I don't have to wear compression clothing underneath it, which is something that I did a lot back in 2013. Let me fix this. Was wearing compression clothing kind of so I could fit into smaller clothes, I suppose. Let's see. Let me pull this back up here. Hello, Barb. Hello, Tribe. Yes, hello, Barb. All right. So Mega Veggie Chili last night. Carrie had an event with one of our kids last night. So before she left, she said that I should heat up some fruit or defrost some fruit. So I grabbed some of our fruit and I threw it in a pan. It's not the maybe most appetizing. It was a very yellow mix of fruit. There is pineapple in there, there's peaches in there, and there's also mango in there. And I just threw them in a pan and threw them in the oven for about 45 minutes to defrost and soften the fruit up. And it was a nice little snack that we had last night before bed. Let's see. Then today started the day off with a bag of broccoli with some Table Tasty. Not a very pretty picture of oatmeal there. Here's a much better picture of the oatmeal from today. And then for lunch, I had a big bowl of potatoes like I do every other day for lunch. And then I also had a steamer bag of broccoli and cauliflower. I've been eating a lot more cauliflower, and I've been enjoying it. So we've been buying bags of both just broccoli and then bags of broccoli and cauliflower mix. So that has been the food for the past 24 hours. Let's see, our Tiny Acre says, your husband was laughing and telling you you needed new pants already again. Leggings that you bought 3 weeks ago are sliding down constantly. That's great that you're having that kind of success and the clothing is falling off of you. That's part of what's kept me from buying new clothing, is that I'm not to my final weight yet. So I don't want to go out and spend a bunch of money on clothing and then lose more weight and then be, that clothing be too big. So I was actually talking to Carrie the other day about going to like Goodwill or something and buying some clothing that might be smaller. Because there's going to be more options at those places for me now than there used to be. Before, you could go to those and I could look for clothing that was 4XL or 5XL, but it was very limited in what options that I might have. So if I went now, I'd probably have more options because I fit into smaller clothing. Let's see. Yeah, Carrie says they got to hit up Goodwill or something to get some temporary pants. Yeah, you need to do that, our Tiny Acres, so you have something while you're losing the weight. And, it's a great feeling to have that clothing be loose and, kind of want to hold on to that too a little bit. You said leggings are pretty cheap, so you told him you'd get 2 pair until you got closer to your goal weight. That's great. Yeah. No, it's fun to have that kind of, seeing those non-scale victories in the clothing that you're wearing. I had a photo here my brother sent me. So when I first started the channel up, he helped me a lot with the audio stuff, the cameras, and some things. And we were trying to do kind of my initial weigh-in video. It didn't really come out good enough for me to do anything with, but he sent me this photo of me from that day. So this is me just before starting this stream. I'm actually standing on a scale there, doing a weigh-in, and just so shocking to see just how big I was and how much extra weight that I was carrying around my midsection. I mean, it really looks like somebody took a air pump, put it in my belly button, and just pumped it up and pumped it up and pumped it up until I was about to pop. And so it was just surprising to see this photo. And then also to kind of just see, I kind of remember that day, it might have been a little warm in the part of the warehouse we were doing that in, but just how kind of sweaty I was, and we weren't doing anything that would have caused me to sweat today. We were just me standing in front of a camera, saying some things, trying to get an initial weigh-in. But he came across that on his phone and decided to shoot that to me, and just to see how big it is. Barb here says, I still can't believe how different you look now. Even your facial features look different. Yeah, I mean, I don't have a beard now, so that's a little bit different. That's new in the last week. But I definitely see it, I feel it in my face, the thinness of my face, around my neck and my chest. I really feel it and notice it around that area. There was a lot of excess weight there that I was holding. So, anyways, I thought I would just share that with you guys because that came across my phone today. And it's just amazing how different things are now that I've lost the weight, and how different things progressed from that point to now. When I was standing there doing that weigh-in, the only plan I had was to do a water fast. I had no idea what I was going to do for diet. I just knew that I needed to start deflating that balloon around my midsection so I could start doing things again that most people find easy to do. And then it led me down this path to eating a whole food plant-based diet and just kind of the volume eating and just everything. So, does my wedding ring still fit? You might not have caught my stream last week, and I am wearing my wedding ring. Carrie is concerned. So last week, it might have been last Wednesday when I was supposed to do my weigh-in. I had to go on a road trip that was supposed to be 7 hours, lasted 11 hours. And when we broke down, or we had to pull over to the side of the road to deal with the truck we were picking up. And while we were doing that, I lost my wedding ring on the side of the highway. And thankfully, I was able to find it. It was kind of stressful for a couple minutes. And then later that same day, my ring fell off. It was very late at night when I was at home trying to get some food. My ring fell off again. So I didn't wear my wedding ring for a couple days. And then I put it back on, I think yesterday. I think I put it back on. We have some silicone rings that we were messing with. I don't really like the silicone rings. I like my wedding ring a lot, so I don't like wearing them. Carrie here says that there's a third temporary silicone wedding ring en route to us. We can resize the thing when I am done losing weight, is what she says. So she wants me to wear a silicone ring until I get to I don't think my fingers could lose any more weight. I really don't think that they could. I never had real fat fingers. All my fat was around my midsection, under my armpits, in my chest, but it wasn't really in my forearms and in my hands, and then really until the last year or so, my calves didn't seem to have a lot of fat in them, but then I started getting a lot of fluid retention down in my calves and my ankles, so it kind of looked like fat. But so my hands have never been real fat, I never was real fat fingered, I guess. But yes, so my ring fell off last week. It's getting to the point where I got to do something about it. But yeah, I really like my regular wedding band and not the silicone rings. Because the thing with the silicone rings is that I went the other spectrum of it. At one point, I was so fat that I was wearing the silicone ring because my wedding ring was uncomfortable. And now I've, gone the other way, that I've lost so much weight that I can't keep my wedding ring on my hand. And the same thing's going on with the belt that I'm wearing currently, is that the belt I had drilled a notch in the belt to make it larger as I was gaining weight. And now I'm to the point where I need to drill a hole in the belt again to make it smaller, which are great non-scale victories in a way. The ring one was not such a great non-scale victory because I thought I almost lost it, which would have been really frustrating to have had that happen to me. Let's see. The thing I wanted to talk about today was about, what did I say? Stop trying to change the wrong things. Stop trying to change the wrong traits about yourself. We're all made up of hundreds of different traits, and we all have different spots or spectrums that we land within all of these traits. So you might be an agreeable person, whereas the person next to you is disagreeable, or vice versa. And every characteristic that a person can have, people fall in different spots on those spectrum of traits. And all those traits combined make us who we are. Somebody who is agreeable, somebody who's open, somebody who is willing to take risks, somebody that is likes to go on adventures, or somebody who likes to work out, or somebody who likes to study and learn. We all have different character traits, and we all fall in different spots on those character traits. And when it comes to dieting and weight loss, one of the character traits that we all have is, how much food that we enjoy eating, or or the satisfaction that we get from eating food. I know that I derived a lot of my satisfaction from food, and that's one of my character traits. And in the past, I tried to remove that from, I tried to change that character trait about myself. I tried to say I need to stop finding satisfaction in my food, and I need to start eating less food, or a smaller volume of food than my body wants to eat. And I start changing these major character traits that I possess. And in the short run, you can change some of those, but in the long run, there are character traits that you'll just spend your entire life fighting that character trait. And if that is what you want to do, I suppose go ahead and do it. But you're making things more difficult on yourself if you're fighting some of your natural tendencies. And I think the biggest natural tendency that we have, that we're fighting, is the volume of food that we consume. We have it in our head that we're overeating, that we're eating too much food. And it's true, you're eating too many calories, but it's not true that you're eating too much food. If your body wants you to eat that volume of food, then maybe that's the volume of food that you need to eat. What you need to change is the content of the food that you're eating. You don't have to change the characteristics about yourself. You have to change the characteristics of the food that you're eating. This is way behind here. Maybe it's throwing me off. All right, I fixed that. But you have to start to embrace your characteristics, the things that make you you, and then find how you can change the things that are outside of that character trait. And for me, what I did is I changed the content of the food that I eat. I know that I get satisfaction from eating a large volume of food. So I still get that satisfaction from eating a large volume of food. I just changed what I'm eating. I no longer eat the high calorie foods. I eat low calorie foods so that I can still meet that characteristic. I can still meet that need that my body has, and I'm not sitting here trying to make myself find satisfaction from less when my body knows that there's more out there, and that's a big part of this restrictive eating that people do, where they eat these low volume, high restrictive diets, is that they never satisfy their body's desires. And the other characteristic that we try to change a lot of times to lose weight is how much activity you want to do naturally. And again, we all have a different spectrum of how active we are, how much, we everybody, you'll do that cost benefit analysis of, is doing this task worth the energy that it's going to take to do it, with the outcome that is going to come from doing it, and is it worth my energy? And there's some people that might say yes for a particular task, and there's some people that would say no for a particular task. And we have that same thing with working out. I enjoy going and lifting and doing things occasionally, but I am not somebody who wants to be at the gym every morning at 5 a.m. to do my 45-minute workout. And so what I would do in my previous diets is I would try to change that characteristic about me. I would try to say, hey, we're going to become this super motivated person that wakes up at 4 so you can get everything together to get to the gym by 5 so you can start your day like that. That's not who I am. I'm somebody who would much rather sleep in till 7 or 8 a.m. and then just quick get ready and go, instead of having a whole routine in the morning. And so by trying these past diets that I did, they relied on going to the gym and working out, is I was trying to change that characteristic about myself. And hello, Gene. I hope you're doing great today. Just talking about some of the character traits that I thought I was going to have to change when I started this diet, but realized that trying to change those characteristics is a losing battle, or an uphill battle. Like you can maybe work out your will for a little while, but again, you're gonna find a reason. If you find a reason not to go to the gym, then 2 years from now, you're likely going to still be that type of person that tries to find a reason to not go to the gym. But if you can change what the gym looks like to you, instead of being at the gym for an hour every morning or every afternoon, just try to find ways to increase the activity around your house. Say, I'm going to spend more time cleaning. I'm going to spend more time walking the dog, or I'm going to try to increase the things I'm already doing maybe, and try to just do them with a little bit more intensity than I did them before. And maybe eventually, when you get some of the weight off, then some of your mindset will change. Maybe you have, that when I was 520 pounds, I would do that cost benefit analysis of whether or not taking the dog for a walk was worth the effort, if the dog was going to get anything out of it, and if I was going, what I would do that benefit analysis at 520 pounds. And if I did that same analysis at 280 pounds, I'm much more likely to grab the leash and go walk the dog, or I'm much more likely to maybe get the gym membership and go do that. But when you're 500 plus pounds or 400 plus pounds or grossly overweight, that isn't something that you're going to be able to just change and be happy with that change. You're going to be dreading it every time you put your shoes on, every time your alarm clock goes off, you're going to dread it. Just like when you eat these restrictive diets, eventually you start dreading the food that you're going to eat, and you start having negative feelings towards your diet instead of positive feelings. When you first started, you're like, oh, I love the fact that I can eat all of whatever that whatever. But if you're not allowed a variety of foods, or if the foods are, because many times you end up getting into the foods that you're choosing to eat because they're giving you the most stimulation And so you end up eating a low volume of food. Hey, Karen, how's it going? I hope everything's going great with you today. Yeah, just and just realize that, the things that you used to think that you had to change, and maybe you guys have examples of things that you thought you were going to have to change about your diet or your lifestyle, that after eating this way, you found that you had your perception was wrong. The big things for me is the idea that I was going to have to eat a low volume of food to try to stay in this calories in, calories out density thing. And the other was that I thought I was going to have to be at the gym constantly. And that has not been the case. I've been able to continue to be my not going to the gym self, and still lose weight and still see success with my weight loss. So, and we, it's so frustrating to think back of all the time I spent trying to change those things about me and trying to, really just thinking of myself as being less than because that was my character trait. The fact that I love to eat. I could always eat more food. I never turned down a meal. It was something that those are traits, that are built into me from, thousands and thousands of years of evolution, and I have these traits, and, a lot of my siblings have these traits, but it's not everybody across the spectrum is that way. Like I see it with my kids. I have 4 kids. The 2 youngest are twins. They're fraternal twins. They're not identical twins, but all 4 of them have completely different characteristics in how they approach foods, how they approach trying new foods, their willingness to eat foods, whether they like it or not, the volume of food that they do eat when they enjoy the food, the volume of food that they eat when they don't enjoy the food, like they still eat different amounts. Like all of that stuff varies within them. And those are characteristics that are built into them. Like we have one kid, and I'm sure that, and maybe many of you were that person in your family that, that you would refer to them as the garbage disposal, like, well, they'll eat anything we put in front of them and they'll eat everybody else's leftovers. And I was that kid growing up. That's a character trait of that one kid of mine, even though they've lived in the same house and they've had almost all the same experiences. One can be vastly different than the other. And people are the same way. The people that are naturally skinny, their character trait is that maybe that they eat less food, or maybe their character trait is that they like going to the gym more. They like doing those workouts more. Maybe their character trait is a physiological thing, that their body just processes food differently than your body. Your body absorbs everything. Their body absorbs 50% of everything that goes into it. So, and then also what we do is we try to change, like the recipe I talked about, is that, we try to change to one set thing. And that would be like taking a recipe and saying, you have to do this recipe exactly this way, or else it doesn't, you won't enjoy it, I guess. And it's not always true. Like a recipe many times is built to serve a broad spectrum of people. So you might like foods less spicy than other people, or you might like foods that are, warmer or colder than other people. And those are differences within you. And those are also, when you look at diets that people are recommending to people, they try to get everybody to be on this set program, this set plan, so you all follow the exact same program, but that program could be built to fit somebody who has completely different characteristics than you have, or it might not serve you to do it exactly that way, but that's the only way they know how to present their diet as successful because it worked for them. Like this diet isn't that way. You eat the foods that you want to eat. You just remove the processing of the foods. You remove the added salt, the added oil, and the added sugar, and you can eat anything that you want to eat without that stuff in there, and you're going to start getting healthier. You're going to start seeing the pounds go off. You might not get to have that cheeseburger that you wanted to have, or the supreme pizza that you wanted to have, but it doesn't mean you don't get to have something. You get to continue to eat. You get to, our Tiny Acre says your neighbor quit talking to you because you won't give up your potatoes. What does that mean? That you won't let them have any of your potatoes, so they quit talking to you. Oh man. That's rough. Maybe it's a good thing. I have some neighbors that maybe that would be, if that was all it took, right? That's all it takes to get you to stop talking to me. I would have done it a lot sooner. Yeah, it's just crazy too bad for them, Pretty Girl's mom says. It's just that's the calories in, calories out model. Like that's the character traits that everybody says you have to change. You have to change calories in, you have to change what you're bringing in, and immediately people think reduce calories, they think reduce consumption, they think reduce volume, and that's not true. You need to realize that calories in is not reduction in volume. It doesn't have to be a reduction in volume. And there's not, I doubt anybody's sitting here and saying that they ever have said that they felt full of calories. Like that's something that I realized is that, and especially with the more processed the foods are, the more you seem to be able to put into your body. But I never sat down and thought, oh my God, I had so many calories today. It would be that I can't believe I ate so much food today. I always think about my fullness in a volume or a stuffed setting. And it wouldn't, if I had a day where I maybe ate home cooked meals all day, I still ate a huge volume of food, and I wasn't any more satisfied than days that I had fast food or garbage food all day. Like you don't get your satisfaction from calories. High calorie foods will stimulate the dopamine, but your satiation, when your stomach says we're full, it doesn't care about the calories that you put in. It cares about the volume that you put in. So you have to realize that calories in doesn't mean fewer or, smaller volume. And we have to meet that volume need. And then the calories out part of that doesn't mean that you have to get a gym membership and all of a sudden become this super dedicated bodybuilder in order to lose weight, or you don't have to get on the treadmill and run for hours and hours to lose weight. You have to look at that calories out equation and see what things you can do to affect that calories out. And, maybe it's being a little more active in your daily life, parking further away from the doors, finding a moment to go for a walk. You can do those things, but also the calories in or the calories out, you can make it tougher for your food to digest what it's eating by eating food that's less processed. So that would also cause your body to expend more energy in digesting food. So that would add to your calories out. It's just something that we get stuck in our head that we have to change those things about ourselves. And it's not true. I did not change the volume of food that I eat. I eat as much volume of food now, if not more food now, probably more now than I did, as far as weight of the food. I don't eat less food, and I don't work out more. I don't. It's not part of my daily routine. I get more activity in that I've walked, today I've done 4,500 steps is what I've done today. And, I thought I had more than that, but, yeah, I do, 5,000, I do less than 10,000 steps a day. So I'm not hitting any type of crazy markers. I just changed the food. I changed the environment around me. I changed what I have access to, and I changed what I go to. So, Barb here says, some people don't like to see others change for the better and makes them feel guilty. I think that might be in reference to our Tiny Acres saying that your neighbor wants you to eat more like she does. So she's trying to get you to eat her way. You're saying, I won't quit eating potatoes. Where's Sarasota, Florida at? I said potatoes. Nobody's going to take their potatoes away from them. Some people, some people don't like to see the change. And then Pretty Girl's mom says, think of all the deliciousness she is missing. It's hard to convince people that that way of eating isn't sustainable. I mean, and there's some people online that might be able to sustain it and manage it. But again, it comes down to those character traits. A lot of those people weren't grossly overweight. So their character traits may have it that they don't eat as big a volume of food as you eat. So when they only eat 3 pounds of food a day, maybe they're only, a pound short of what they're wanting. Or maybe just in getting rid of the processed foods, what their natural is a low calorie amount. But if you're somebody who's 200 pounds overweight or even 100 pounds overweight, it's not likely that you're going to be able to make that change to eating a low volume diet and sustain it for the long run, but there's a lot of people trying. There's a lot of people out there trying to do that. Gene says you got your local Hy-Vee store to order some Hannah yams. Well, I'm heading up there to grab some. That's awesome. That they picked those up for you up there. I feel inclined to pressure my Hy-Vee to order them, but they're so expensive. I mean, I don't know how their prices is on that, but just kind of everything. We do a lot of our shopping at Walmart because the prices at Hy-Vee seem to be pretty high. But if they're gonna order some yams for you, you better order quite a few of them. Sonia here says that it's great that I can wear this shirt without compression clothing. I really do, and I don't like. I like the way I look in compression clothing, I suppose, but I don't like the way it feels, especially over time. Like, I think one of the greatest feelings in the world is taking that compression shirt off and letting my body just kind of do what it wanted to do, go where it wants to go. But I do have a lot of loose skin, or it's getting loose. I feel like I am bones in a big sack. And then our Tiny Acre says that rocks. Yeah, that's pretty cool. You got them to order those Hannah yams because they're really good. They're absolutely delicious and something that again, this diet, I've gotten to try a variety of things I never would have tried. Like a lot of these diets that I see now are restricting people into eating things that they've eaten a lot of or that they seem to love. And they're not trying anything new. They're not, and I would think that would get a bit boring. And I think it does get boring. It got boring for me when I was doing the cheating diet, I'll call it, with the appetite suppressants. Carrie says I sound like every woman ditching her bra at the end of the day. Yes, you're probably right. Taking the compression shirt off is probably similar to the feeling that women have when they get to take their bras off. Jean says that they got them coming in from California. And Pretty Girl's mom says that the Hannah yams are the best white potatoes, I think is what you're saying there. Yes. I really like the Hannah yams. And like I was saying, I've tried so many things that I never would have tried. The Hannah yams, lots of recipes, lots of, just like we had a soup the other day that had, regular okra in it. It's frozen okra, but in the past I'd had fried okra, but I wouldn't have eaten just cooked okra. There's all kinds of mango, like I never, I might have had things that had mango flavoring or, mango habanero kind of flavorings, but to actually just eat mango fruit, I never did that before I started this diet. I didn't know that mangoes are like the most popular fruit in the world. I just kind of, I had my blinders on to my, my diet, the foods that were around me and fresh fruits and things like that, were not on my radar. But now, my openness to try new foods that I've always had, I just changed what I'm open to trying. I've always been open to trying the new thing at Taco Bell, open to trying the new pizza at Pizza Hut. Now I'm open to trying the new, raspberries I hadn't had, or blueberries, or trying, brown rice. Like that's something that I absolutely despised rice. I never ate it. And, it's just something that, I changed, I allowed my openness to try new things to, to allow me to try healthy things that are benefiting my body, and as opposed to the toxic things I was eating. Or Pretty Girl's mom, candy snap grapes. I'll have to try some candy snap grapes. Absolutely. And just having that, every day it surprises me how much food I get to eat, how much I get to satisfy that part of myself. Because that was not, again, I mentioned earlier, the photo I showed, where I'm sitting now, what I'm saying now, the things I'm talking about, things I believe are far different than the things I believed so long ago. Gene says, I sound like your son. I'm not sure what exactly that is, but hopefully it's a good thing and not a bad thing. Our Tiny Acre says you love Concord grapes. I love all grapes. Grapes are delicious. In fact, now I'm really fiending for grapes. We were talking about all day yesterday and now today again. No problem, Barb. See you tomorrow. Hope you have a great evening. Yeah, you're gonna get me to stop by and buy grapes at some point on my way home, or add it to our grocery order. Yeah. Oh, he didn't like a lot of veg. Oh, yeah. It said it in the Chef AJ interview. If I ate a vegetable, it was by accident. Like if I'd order a burger that had lettuce and tomato on it, I got it without lettuce and tomato. It was just part of the order. That would be Wendy's. Anytime I went to Wendy's, because a lot of their burgers had lettuce and tomato on them, right? Or if I had vegetables, it would be like on a supreme pizza. It would be mushrooms and onions and black olives and green peppers and stuff like that. But yeah, I wouldn't eat vegetables. I didn't have any desire to eat vegetables. They don't have enough protein in them for somebody to live. So why would you eat vegetables, right? Like that was kind of the mindset I had. Carrie says, do it, buy the grapes. Well, you know what happens when everybody's telling me to go get grapes. I'll have to go get grapes. You guys are awesome. I'll have to see if they have the candy snap grapes that everybody's talking about. No problem, Cindy, catching the tail end, not a problem. Just kind of talking about the characteristics that I thought I'd have to change and now realize that I don't have to change. I can embrace those characteristics. It's just the input that you give yourself, like I had those characteristics to eat a large volume of food. I just allowed, I picked from the wrong buffet line. I grabbed from the wrong spot, and now that I've changed where I'm grabbing food from, I'm not fighting that character change, like it's not a characteristic. I don't have a characteristic in me to kill an animal and eat its body. I don't have a characteristic in me that requires me to eat oil or have added salt or added sugar. Like those are not things that require a change in my character. Whereas I think a lot of these diets require you to change characteristics about yourself that are just unrealistic and it's unsustainable. There's, it's just something that I wish so many people would just try it. I wish there was a better way for people to just give it a shot. I wish there was less brainwashing out there that you have to have these processed foods and that your solution is in a magic pill. Your solution's not in a magic pill. Your solution is in a magic fruit. Your solution is in a magic vegetable. There is no magic pill. It's something that we all are just waiting for somebody to come out with that magic pill, and it's already there. It's something that it surrounds us. You don't see overweight animals in nature because they don't have these processed foods. They don't have added sugar. They don't have added salt. They don't have added oil in their diets. They don't have these things. So you're not seeing obesity in these animals in the world. The only place where you see a pandemic of obesity is in humans, and it's because of our grocery stores. It's because where we are grabbing our food from is not fit. The food that we're grabbing is not fit for human consumption. And in order to eat this food that's not fit for human consumption, then we have to start doing things that aren't human, which is restricting what we eat. It's going out and doing more activity than you naturally want to do. That's what you have in order to eat these foods that don't exist in nature. That's what you have to give up. You have to give up eating a volume of food, and you have to give up being relaxed. And that goes against two of the pleasure traps right there. The seeking pleasure, the avoiding pain, and what's the other one? Seek pleasure, avoid pain, and conserve energy. And it goes against that. Karen says that they had hated veggies except for corn. I loved corn too. Spinach, kale, and potatoes. So you ate more than me some. Mushrooms. I would eat mushrooms. But so before you started eating this way, you had a hard time finding things to eat in the beginning, and that changed with the neuroadaptation. Yeah, it happens. It's amazing that it happens. It takes time. I try to just get my kids to understand, I don't need you to eat the whole bowl of food. Just try a little bit of it. Just put it in your body, get it in there, and then let your body decide that whether it wants it or not the next time you eat it. Because if it gave your body nutrients that it needed, it was give your body something that it was looking for, your body's going to start saying, hey, we need more of that. And so it's going to change your taste buds, but it takes time for that to happen. Cindy says, I'm waiting for the day when people realize that animal product consumption is not sustainable. It's not. And it's one of the things that I was surprised that I think is the word cognitive dissonance. Is that the word that I'm looking for? Let me see. Cognitive dissonance is the state of having inconsistent thoughts or beliefs or attitudes, especially when related to behavioral decisions or attitude changes. Maybe that's not the right word, but I guess what I didn't think about the cost of the food that I was eating. I would go and I would order a hamburger or a double quarter pounder or something, and I wouldn't think of everything that had to go into me getting that hamburger for the $5 that I got the hamburger for. And, there were times on previous diets that I would, be on a chicken diet essentially. And I would I would go to the store and I would get a boiler chicken and eat the whole chicken myself. And just to think about like the weeks that chicken had to be alive, the food that it had to be fed, and I get all of it for $5. But then, after eating this way and starting to think about it and realizing that, it's not just the cow that I ate, it's all of the food that cow had to get fed to get to the point where I could eat it. Like that, the cow only retains a certain amount of the calories that it consumes, just like a human. You only retain a certain number of the calories that you consume. You may sit there and have it all measured out on Chronometer that you're eating exactly 2,371 calories. But unless you're sitting there and measuring the calories that are coming out of your body, you don't know that you've absorbed all those. Well, cows are the same way. They're not absorbing every grain of food, every ounce of food, so they're only getting, a couple percent of body calories from the large amount of foods that it's eating. So the sustainability in that just doesn't seem possible. And then, I mean, it's tough because we don't live in the natural world, so we don't see natural herds of animals like we may have seen thousands of years ago. But I don't think that, I wouldn't have been able to go out and kill an animal to feed my family of 6, like sustainably. Like, how many times would I have to kill an animal, and that animal, how much of it would we eat before it rotted? Like, we would have sustained on the vegetation that's around us, and I don't have any natural instinct to kill an animal. I fasted for 42 days. I never looked at my dog and thought, God, I bet you taste good. I never saw a squirrel in my driveway and thought, oh man, I'm going to get that squirrel. No, for the last half of my fast, I was wanting mushrooms and onions is what I ended up eating to break my fast. But it wasn't the idea of, like, if it was so naturally ingrained in us to hunt, when I got to that point of hunger, that should have been more of a focus. It should have been more on my mind. Like, if you were to starve a cat for 42 days, it's not going to hesitate before it goes and kills something. It's just going to go do it. And so, Our Tiny Acre says you had Brussels sprouts and now you want them a lot. Carrie's been eating Brussels sprouts. She had them for lunch today. Yeah, that's something that, again, it's an acquired taste. That's where it comes from. The acquired taste is you try it a little bit, and then after a few weeks, you can try a little more until you can have it all the time. Karen says you loathed mushrooms and now you love them. Oh, you can loathe mushrooms. I guess I loathed rice. So I guess I could see that. But yes, you love them now. That's great. Jean says that's great, Karen. Just have to try a little bit at a time before developing the taste for it. Yes. And that's been really, again, a surprising part of this diet is that your body has that ability to change those things. It has the ability to change its taste preferences. And to me, it makes sense from a natural standpoint. If we were, people that moved around a lot, the food that's around us this summer might be different than the food that's around us next summer. And we have to be able to adapt to that change in foods. Whereas other species of animals, they can't handle that change. They might not be able to go from eating bananas to oranges, but as a person, you could potentially do that, So, yeah, we adapt. We can have new foods, we can try new things, and we can get used to those things. And then, yeah, I mean, I feel amazing with being on diet too, like there's definitely a level of clarity that I get from not having the added salt, oil, and sugar in my diet too. So it's been really good. I think that's going to be it for me today. It's about an hour-long stream. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope the audio was okay. I had messed with my audio before yesterday's live stream, and I went back and listened to it a little bit, and it didn't sound great. So I hope the audio today is not as boomy as it was yesterday. So, but I am going to get out of here for today. Tomorrow is weigh-in Wednesday, so I'm excited to hop up on the scale and see how the weigh-in goes for me tomorrow. We've been kind of hanging out at this 280 mark, and I'm happy to be at 280 though. You know, I mean, even though I've been the same weight for a few weeks, I've kind of been on a behavioral equilibrium. I really am happy with it. I'm happy that I'm leveled out here. You know, I'm not like gaining a bunch of weight. I'm not having an issue where I'm trying to hold on to this weight loss. It's just going well. Carrie send a little hint, some grapes. Yeah, maybe we'll stop by and get some grapes. I'm sure you'll have a whole list of other groceries to add to that list by the time I get to the store. So I'll stop by and get some grapes. But if I gain weight tomorrow, if I don't lose weight tomorrow, I just want all you guys to know it's because I ate 5 pounds of grapes this afternoon, and it's all your fault. It's not my fault. It's your fault that I gained weight because I had all those grapes this evening. But yeah, I'm excited to get out on the scale tomorrow. And I should be on the rest of the week too. So thank you guys for all of the support. Make sure you hit the like button on this video, gives it a thumbs up, let people know that it was worth listening to today. Yeah, you're not going to be able to convince me, pretty girl's mom. It's the grapes. I haven't even bought them yet, and I know, you know, it's the grapes. Now, if I lose weight, though, it's not the grapes. It was all me. I did a lot of hard work to lose that weight, so just know that. So, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, make sure you get subscribed to the channel. If you've not clicked on the bell icon, click on the bell icon so you get alerted when I go live or post new videos. And if you have not, only buy 2 pounds, how am I going to only buy 2 pounds? I got 6 people in my house. The second, if I buy 2 pounds of grapes, I'm going to get home, there's going to be a half pound of grapes left in the bag, and everybody's going to yell at me because I only brought them a half pound of grapes to split between the 5 of them. So 2 pounds of grapes just isn't enough grapes for our house. I'm sorry. I'm going to have to buy more. We'll see. But if you have not started your diet yet, yes, I am a little piggy. Oink, oink. If you haven't started your diet yet, get started right now. There's nobody that gets to their goals, looks back, and wishes that they would have waited. Everybody who reaches their goals looks back and says, I wish I would have done this so much sooner. If I'd have known how great I was going to feel, I never would have waited. So get started right now. Don't hesitate. Get something going. Oh, I know you're just kidding. You guys have a great day.